You are a musician, is that
I
correct?
am, and I left my brief music career to come to Ryerson.
Weren't you a roadie for Chris DeBurgh or something
Yeah.
like that? I don't know why I remember that.
Yes,
So-
when I left CKLN, I went and a friend of mine, Gary Howsam, who was also RTA grad, he had started a music rehearsal studio called Greenlight Productions, and so he asked me if I'd like to come and kind of manage it for him. But one of the bands that rehearsed out of there was Chris DeBurgh's backup band. They were all from Toronto, and having spent like 3 or 4 weeks with them in the studio, they needed somebody to be basically a guitar and keyboard technician, and would I be interested? So Chris DeBurgh, in his own right, was huge in the UK and Europe and in Canada. We toured around, and then that summer we toured with Supertramp and Joe Cocker. It was 3 together. It was Supertramp's last tour of the original band. For me, that was, I had a 9-month or I'd say a year change with the 2 tours I did, 3 tours, as my pinnacle of, I got to live that life.
The rock and roll.
And so for me, it's a super important period of my life, and I have great memories of it. And I found an old newspaper clipping. Somebody mentioned that there's a song called Patricia the Stripper that was on his first album, Spanish Train, that everybody. And, if Patricia the Stripper was alive today, she'd be 100 years old. And I had a photograph from a newspaper in Munich of myself, the other roadie, Chris's wife, one of our truck drivers. We used to get up, and they always had a stripper as part of the show. It was
Like
on
a
the
real
rider.
stripper.
Yeah, a real stripper. And she'd
hired locally.
Yeah, and she'd come out during Patricia the Stripper and start to do a dance, and then Bruce and I would have, we were dressed up as bobbies, English bobbies, and we would walk out
Oh, you went on stage.
and grab her. And then instead of taking her away, we'd end up all doing this high kick thing. It was hilarious.
Wow.
It was my 2 minutes of fame every night.
Wow. It's like
So I
Nutcracker.
posted this picture, and Chris responded like, "Oh my God, what a memory, and what a great shot." And he says, all of these moments that he understood that for me was a big moment. The fact I kept that, who would have kept a newspaper from 40 years ago? I did. I did it for 2 tours, and then one more with the same band, a different artist, and then my wife gave birth to our first child, and so that was it for me. I started looking for a real job.